Welcome, welcome, welcome. Holy crap, it's been 9,000 years. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I jumped the gun a little bit, but the song was over. I don't really remember how to stream, to be perfectly honest. It's been that long. Uh, I see volume sliders. I'm kind of teaching myself how to stream again because I had to set up OBS from scratch. That's a whole long story that I might get into, but I had to set up OBS from scratch. I mean, technically, it was mostly because I got myself a new, bigger main hard drive SSD. So, of course, I installed Windows from scratch and all that. I backed up. I thought I backed up everything that I needed to back up, but what do I always forget to back up whenever I need to back up stuff from my main C drive? The apps data stuff. So, Minecraft stuff. And, OBS. The Minecraft stuff wasn't too big a deal, mostly. But yeah, OBS. Thought you join you next time. Discord. OJ. Do I know you, OJ? I don't think so. Try and decide if spammer. Gamer Lord. Yeah. Okay. Gamer Lord. So, not that anyone is here, and I don't expect anyone to be here. Like I said, I haven't done this in like damn near a year with streaming. Uh, but how's everyone doing? I am apparently streaming at a little over 5,000 bitrate. I don't even know if that's right. That seems awfully high for me. It seems awfully high. I'm using, let's see, 14 and a half gigs of RAM, but I do have 32 gigs of RAM still. And not 64, which is a story I might get into. And yeah, let's just get into it, I guess. Yeah. I should do the whole streamer thing and do just chatting for a while, but I don't really know how to do that. Okay, so now that the game's up, I see music, I see mic audio, and ATS. It's not making any sound because I'm not focused into it. And now, maybe. Well, there's no. I don't think the game's making sound right now because I don't have the UI music on. So, oh, here we go. It's still very quiet. Uh, Now, one of the reasons why it took me like probably over an hour from when I announced on my Discord that I was going to stream to when I actually streamed is because I decided, silly me, that I was going to start a brand new profile for the stream. I think I might have lost the one that I had for streaming before. I don't know. But I started a new one because, why not? If I'm going to play this, I might as well explore new things and get the viewpoints and all that fun stuff. Not have my pick of trucks in the beginning. Like right now, I'm on the first job, Denver to Denver. Uh, Audio. Still very quiet. But yeah, if anybody happens to be there, let me know how the audio is because I'm sure it's a mess. Like I said, I had to completely redo everything OBS. Truck engine. Well, everything is at 50% right now. Let's go a little bit higher here. What about the master volume? Usually everything's too loud with this game. That's a little better. Okay, I think I can work with that. Alright, so, wheel cam. Wheel cam is back. Set that all up. I was actually going to do face cam too, so yeah, if I have to lean forward and type like so, you will see my face from the side. I don't care. I'm not a VTuber yet, or maybe ever, I don't know. I if I could ever figure that out. And here we go with the music where one track is loud and the next track is quiet. Isn't that nice? I mean, it's what? I don't know what it is, but it's too damn quiet. And yeah, I try to skip the song. Tried to use the keyboard button and skip the song, but of course, and this has been a thing with Windows 10 forever. There we go. Right there. Anywho, Windows does the thing where when you're trying to use the next, back and next buttons, the what use the buttons on the keyboard that used to just control media player. Now it's like trying to control, I don't know, YouTube tabs on the browser or anything, and I guess you're supposed to like press the stop button to flick around to what you're controlling. It never used to be that complicated. It used to just be the buttons control media player. I'm old. Anywho, we are starting with this. I still have buttons. So, setting up OBS took a long time, first off. Second off, what took a long time is I decided to start a new profile. And I could not, for the life of me, even though I don't have that many profiles left, figure out how to copy my controls and stuff from my main profile to this one. So I had to set up all my controls all over again. I think I did it right, but maybe I just needed to keep playing around with the order of the controllers to get it to work. I don't know. But I had to set everything. And I'm still going through that because I just realized that I'm missing look left and look right. Well, not look left and right, look right exactly. It's interior camera left and right, I think. Look left, look right. Interior look, yeah. Interior look left. Interior look right. Let's try that. That's too far, isn't it? That's like way too far. Although I am seeing the mirror even when I'm not looking left, so maybe that's it. I wish I had to... Oh my god, I haven't had to set these buttons in so long. Oh, this is a good stream. This is a very good stream. I'm going to just try to pretend that I'm not streaming, maybe. The heart rate monitor is working. 80. That's pretty good, I think. Interior. So what are my other options for interior look? Interior look left. Look up middle. Oh, I can hit num7. What does that do? Is that what I'm looking for? Okay, I want up, left, and up right. That centers. Okay, that's right. Okay, good. Good. I'll get there. I don't have search. I used to being able to do that. Oh, never mind. Oh, I'm not. Interior look. Okay, so it's not look left, it's look up left. Look up right. Look up middle. What the hell is look up middle? Let's see. Let's look up middle. Nice. Okay. So, as you probably can't see because the camera is not very good and the lighting is not very good, and I tried an extra lamp, but first off, the main thing is I don't know where the hell the shade went for my little lamp that I could sometimes put on the side and turn on. So it's way too bright. And second of all, probably also because of the shade, it didn't make the camera look much better. It was just blurry and way brighter. So, wheel. And what you guys are used to is my sequential shifter here, up, down, and then these extra buttons that go with it here. Like I can start the engine, and there's all sorts of stuff I do with these buttons. But what you're not used to is over here, which is barely on the camera, because I had to crop it down because it was, and you see the very clever placement of the ATS logo also, because it was catching the bottom, the camera's catching the bottom of my main screen there, or the side screen, one of them. But anyway, this thing that I have my right hand on here, that is an H shifter, which I never had before. And also you can't see, but I have pedals that are separate that have a clutch. So clutch brake gas. I'm in the big leagues now. So I got a 6 position. Well, it's 7 actually. It's 1 through 6 and reverse. Although, and Liv let me know too. She's like, you know that you don't use reverse with truck game, and it's if you're using the Eaton Fuller system, you don't, because I'll go through the shift pattern in a second, but you don't. But anyway, so now I can shift through either the gears instead of just up down. So now it's called like what, range splitter, range select. We're doing Eaton Fuller, so 10, 13, or 18s basically. So you have top left is reverse because Eaton Fuller. Actually, does this truck show the layout? Oh, it does. I don't know if you can see it. But top left reverse, bottom left you got low and low low, and you split between low and low low. Actually, I should probably turn the engine off because it's going to be very mad at me for shifting the gear shifter around without putting the clutch in. Low and low low, you go down on this one. For basically up on this one is range, down is split. So like down to the left here is low or low low, right? And then you got one. So position that's called 3 on the shifter is 1 because 1 is reverse, and then 2 is low low, 3 is first gear, and down would split it between first, low, and high. That's second, low, high, third, and fourth, low, high. What you do here. And then you go back to first, and you go up on this for range, and that gets you to fifth, low, high, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Low, high. So if you have an 18, that's your 18 gears. And then if you have a 13 speed, then what is it? The first 4 gears you don't get to split, which honestly most 99% of the time you don't need to split them anyway. So that's how that works. And so yeah, there is a reverse position over there to the right, but You're never going to use it if you're using Eaton Fuller. But if you're using, instead of Eaton Fuller, if you're doing splitter or range splitter, then you do use the reverse position. And there are some transmissions on the wacky old trucks that I might do that with. But 9 times out of 10, we're doing Eaton Fuller because I have gotten used to it pretty well. And so, yeah, so you're going to see me like doing this, doing this, doing this, and yeah, it's a little complicated, but it's a lot of fun. It's so much better than just up down here, and having to work the clutch. Of course, the one thing is, it's hard to get a feel for the clutch when you're playing a digital video game. I will say that. I haven't really, the whole getting started with the clutch thing. In real life, I can drive stick just fine, but it's hard to do it when you don't have a feel for it, if that makes any sense. Okay, I don't need tons of ceiling space here. I don't think I can help it in this truck. I usually don't like seeing the mirror unless I'm looking at the mirror, if that makes sense. I don't like to see the mirror all the time. But I think in this truck, that's just the way it is. I don't want to go too crazy setting up the controls because we're driving all from Denver to Denver this run, so what's the point? Okay, stop putzing around. So yeah. Oh yeah, turned it off. Still pretty quiet. Now the music, I don't have it turned up. I think what I'm gonna do with the music is a little loud for me, and the truck is still pretty quiet. I think we're gonna turn the music and my volume slider down to 4. And then I might turn it up in OBS. It's not 100%, but you can go into the settings and go higher. Hard to tell though, because one track is louder than the next. I think that's probably good. Hard to tell when nobody's here, but I'm not expecting anybody to hear. I haven't streamed in like a year, and I didn't really give anybody any notice. But yeah. And you won't be able to tell on the VOD because I have refigured out how to split my audio in OBS. And it doesn't take any special add-ons or anything either. It's just in the settings and a lot of fiddling around, and I figured it out. But on stream, you'll hear the music, but on the VOD, you won't. So you just have to play your own music if you're not watching this live, which nobody's watching it. So. But that's fine. Just play your own music. Most people can do that. All right. So this truck, by the way, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're not splitting anything because this truck. Oh, there's no low. Okay. This is an Eaton Fuller 10 speed. So there's no low gears. There's reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. I get it. So long gears. Some trucks are a lot easier to start than others. This one feels pretty easy. Oh. No GPS. Oh, that's nice. So, Denver to Denver. Okay. Oh, I don't have. I think. I don't have my voice nav set up, I believe. Because, you know. Nope. CB radio cop scouting? What? I don't know what that is. Wrong button. English. Terminator. I've been using Unsolved Mysteries. Grand Tour works.
Make a U-turn.
That's turning your car around to go in the completely opposite direction.
Oh, great.
Speed trap ahead.
We wouldn't recommend speeding, but you didn't expect to hear that from us. You're welcome.
Okay, as funny and awesome as that is, that's too much talking. This is for the GPS. You know what? Let's do the GTA.
Keep left.
Okay. Let's try that.
Calculating route. Please proceed to highlighted route.
Okay, first thing I'm gonna do. Oh, that's the way. Your dreams be no. That's it. I have a question for you guys. Is there ever any usefulness at all to that little round mirror up right in front of the windshield up there on the passenger side? Or the other one on the side? What can you possibly see with either one of those things? Can I go this way, please? Let's start in a second. Yes. Yeah, just make sure I have to come to a complete stop. I'm gonna have to get used to this gearbox. Still eating fuller, but it's only a 10, so 1 isn't where 1 is, etc. Where am I going with this GPS lady?
In 200 yards, turn left. Turn left.
But you see, I have to turn left. It's one way. Eventually, I'll figure out what gears I can skip, but I'm only to be driving this around the block, so. For now, I'm not skipping any. I don't know how to float gears, so. I think that's kind of a thing that if you know how to float gears in real life, you can do it in the game. If not, I don't know. Not that good with a clock yet. Let's try skipping gears. 2. Okay, starting in second is a little tough. So straight to 4. Oh, that's fine.
Keep left. Then immediately
That's right.
exit left.
Go,
Exit
lady.
left.
You needed to tell me a tad bit sooner that I had to turn left. There's no GPS. I'll go straight. Unless she said exit left. I'm not going around circles. Okay, what a fit, because we're going up a hill. I don't know. This is very slow, but I don't think staying in fourth would have been any better. Yeah, fifth to sixth. There we go.
Keep right.
Could use this GPS.
Keep left.
Oh, this is too hard to drive, I guess. I mean, it's only 10 speed. It's just a little tricky just because, you know, first is in a different spot, which means that everything else is in a little bit of a different spot, too. That's the GPS upside down. Is that the default way the GPS works? I haven't started this game from default in a very long time. Well, we're only in 8th out of 10 gears and I'm doing 56, so I mean, this isn't too bad. It's probably pretty underpowered. The rear is not quite right, but I'm not going to be driving this long enough to care. Okay, that GPS has bugged me. I was going to try to ignore it, but no. That's... I can't believe it starts like that. Oh boy, where would that be? Interface. Controls. I know there's an option of how to align the GPS. Is it not called GPS? Navigator. Navigation mode. Show it. To like always align north or whatever. Oh. It shouldn't be upside down, that's my point. We're not in Australia. Show navigation, yes. Best, okay.
Recalculating route.
What are you recalculating? Huh. Map? Map alignment north locked. What's the difference between north locked and always north? Language, I don't know about that. I don't know. It shouldn't be upside down. Well, that didn't change. I get it, I'm traveling south. But the map's supposed to turn one way. Pretty sure. Interesting. Like that. That's right. That's weird. Whatever. Figure it out.
Keep right, then immediately exit right. Exit right. Keep
Didn't like that
left.
downshift, did you?
Turn left.
Started in second, so let's retry. Why did I never? I have a funny question. What's my mod icons? I haven't even been on Twitch much recently, so I'm gonna just time them out. I don't know why I just ban them, but I don't know. It's a super obvious thing. Anywho. Better late than never. I hope the chat is legible on stream. I think it is. When I do the preview from OBS, it looks pretty good, but maybe that's only because I have a pretty nice screen, man. It's third. Second is pushing it.
Keep right, then turn right. Turn right.
So yeah, this is mostly just testing, making sure OBS works, trying to knock the rust off.
In 200 yards, turn left.
Oh, I found another button I'm
Turn
missing.
left.
Oh, actually, no, because that's not the right GPS. That makes sense. Am I going in here?
You have arrived.
This doesn't look right. Yep. But, there's a button over there on the other controller for changing the zoom levels of the GPS. But since this is just the F3 overlay, it's F5 to change zoom levels, which is that. But that's why the map's different, because it's that map instead of the one on the GPS on the inside of the truck. Yay! Wow, half of a level for going from Denver to Denver. That's pretty good. Oh, company branding. Red Bear does not get political, but Red Bear is very American, so we're free as an eagle. Company name. Oh, I don't know. What are we gonna call the company name? Some stupid like Red Smashers or something. That's like freaking Guitar Hero nonsense. Yeah. Like stupid red lines. Red lines. I'm not good at names, people. Eagle. I'll be the Indian. I don't think I could pull that off. That's not bad. I think I'll probably go with the Eagle. That's not too bad, but it's a plane and we're driving a truck. They changed things a little bit. Yay, this is my headquarters. I should totally pretend that I've never played this before. Oh, this is my headquarters. What do you mean I don't have a truck yet? I can't. This is my preferred truck design, by the way. They let you use modded trucks for that now, which I thought was pretty cool. It's the Freightliner FLB. So also, with starting a new profile, you have to put all your mods in from scratch. I have entirely too many mods in this game that I'm actually kind of proud of myself because there's only, I want to say 8 or 10 that I have in the mods folder that aren't workshop mods, that you have to download from a website and put in the mods folder. And I used to have a lot more than that. And most of those are just the maps, the because none of that is on the workshop. So the pro mods is like pro mods on its own is like 4 mods files, and then there's 2 for Reforma, and then there's a couple of compatibility mods that go with those 2. And then there's just a couple of other things that are non-workshop mods. So I feel like I've done a good job of getting rid of a lot of the non-workshop mods. However, I have a crap ton of workshop mods. I forget how many mods the total is, but I had to take pictures of my mod list from my main profile so that I would try to put the mods in the right order on this one. All I ended up doing was the important mods. Everything else is just kind of a mess, but I think it should be fine. But anyway, when I took pictures, you take a picture of the mods of the list that you can see, take one picture, scroll down the next 10 or so whatever mods it is, take another picture. Yeah, it took 15 screen caps to get the whole mod list down. That's a problem. I, I I might like skins a little too much. I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I make Derail Valley skins and stuff, so goes with the territory. Okay, I can't drive. Yeah, I need a quick job. Right, starting from scratch. Right. Okay. Now the problem with the mod, as much as I love all my modded trucks, the problem is that they have a lot of engine and transmission options, and a lot of the engine transmission options and combos that they can have are terrible. Like with the stock trucks, the game does a pretty good job of giving you enough power and gears for the weight that you need to pull. Like this one's 450 horsepower and 13 speed for 19 tons of curtains. That's I'm sure that's fine. With the mods, though, it doesn't really know what to do. So, like, this is the Kenworth K100, which is nice. It's a nice cab over truck. It's kind of like the one we just drove, but different. It's Kenworth instead of Freightliner. It's got 550 horsepower. That's actually pretty good. I usually like to have around 5 to 600 horsepower. That's like my high end. Usually, I don't like to go for the crazy powerful stuff too much. But it's only got a 6-speed transmission. And Denver to Cheyenne, I'm sure has mountains involved, and a 6-speed on mountains sounds like pain and suffering. I think I'd want at least 10 gears. And 22 tons of pay. Oh, 22 tons. That's 44,000 pounds. Okay, that's not too crazy. But still, I would want more gears. 400 horsepower, 13 speed. That's probably fine. What is that? The International. Oh, that's another Smarty truck. Cool. Oh, there's a Scott. 450, 13 speed. That's pretty good for the Scott. A lot of times the Scott will have a really tiny engine, and well, Scott's another one where a lot of the gearboxes are geared so low because they have weak engines and they're meant for trying to pull a lot of weight with a weak engine. So they top out at like 50 miles an hour because you need all of the gearing in the beginning of the range. What's the price per mile? God, 22 per mile. That's rough. Let's try this. 33 tons. That's 66,000 pounds. Wonder how much mountain climbing it is going that way. 400 horsepower is not that great. But it's at least got a 13 speed. It might be rough, but let's try it. Okay, so 13 speed. Pay attention to the gearbox when I pick a truck because I have to set it with this H shifter. Right now I have it set to Eaton Fuller 10. I need to now set it. That's the wrong one. I need to set it to Eaton Fuller 13. And yes, it does make a big difference. It always starts graphics. They changed the UI a bit. And it's taken me a bit to get used to still. I mean, they changed it probably a little while ago. Eaton Fuller 13.
Calculating route.
Let's see, do we have a GPS?
Please proceed to highlighted route.
No. Oh, I see a viewpoint right here. Nice. Oh, I'm gonna be yawning already. It's 12 o'clock. I was gonna start at like 10. Maybe 9:30 is when I was starting to like really get OBS set up and stuff. And yeah. Detours probably aren't a good idea, but I like to get the question marks and the viewpoints and the things that I need to take a picture. Okay, I'm not going to go there. That's a little bit too much of a detour, I think. Actually, it's really not. Oh, what the hell. This is why external jobs are good, because it goes by IRL time instead of in-game time, so you can take as much time as you want. There's a viewpoint there, but it's a dead end in a Walmart, and that's a little... No, I'm not going to do that now. You know what? No Colorado Springs. Pueblo. That shouldn't take too long. Oh. Oh, that looks fun. Okay, I don't think we need to go on that much of a detour game. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can just go into Kenworth and turn around. Yeah. Raton. Okay, that's our delivery.
Calculating route. Please proceed to highlighted
Reverse.
route.
Low. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an Eaton Fuller thing. And then 5. See, now starting with 5, you can split low high. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see if we can start first. Skip the third and go to fourth. I don't like the view in here right now.
Turn left.
I don't know if I can really fix it, but I don't like it. Hi there, Lambda, how you doing? Love the pair. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I think I remember how to stream. Uh, oh, this is just wacky. Like, that's more normal, I think. Uh, Probably when I'm done streaming, my computer's like, oh my god, what are you doing to me? Basically. Come on, you can start in first gear. Ah, yes, sad hell. Let's just stick it low for now. Maybe I should have stretched out fifth. Definitely gonna stretch out six. Oh wow, that's a long hill. Oh god, that was wrong. I went down to second instead of up to high. I have this set up the right way too, it's just my brain sometimes does it wrong.
In 200 yards, turn right.
Yeah, this truck's gonna top out at like maybe 55, I think.
Turn right.
It's my turn. I know I'm taking a long time, but it's my turn. Oh, welcome back from the ads, I think.
Keep left. Then turn left.
So it's not helping anything. Welcome back. Is before the stream, like earlier today, I was playing this on my main account.
Turn left.
And you know how I usually stick around like, I don't know, 500 to 600 horsepower on the top end? Well, I was driving the one truck that I have a ton of horsepower at. It's freaking 800 horsepower. V16 Detroit diesel, which I don't even know even really existed in a truck. But, yeah, so I'm going from 800 horsepower to 400 and this gearbox. Yeah, I can try to look at it. It's not that big a deal. Okay, we're going uphill, so no skipping gears right now. That's it. Well, Discord. No, I don't have any display capture stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Keep right, then immediately exit right. Exit right.
One moment. Because I'm paranoid. Yes. Okay, it's fine. Oh, very nice. Very nice little. I won't read anything else. Just, or not, aloud, but cool. I like. Very nice. Everybody knows about Lilith O'Leary. Oh, see, I know how to stream, I swear. Yeah, the ball is really awesome.
Keep left, then go straight ahead.
Starting low, but I'm going to start to second. Yeah, it's okay. That was not okay. Oh, this is rough. I had a feeling this was not going to be enough power. I was right. This is a nice truck, though. It's just engine and gearbox is not a good combo. And I'm trying to haul something that's too heavy. Trying to stretch the gears out a little bit more. Not that it matters here. That's pretty cool landing. Not the witchy stuff. My mom was thinking
Keep
of
right, then
going
turn
to the
right.
awareness shop with somebody the other day. And on one hand, it's cool. On the other hand, though, it's just she hasn't been into that stuff for years, so it's kind of a waste. I don't know. Oh, I have a 3 here. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to stop at the viewpoint that was right outside of the depot that we. Oh well. What's here? Oh, I don't think. We'll do a little drive-by here.
Keep right, then turn right.
No, we're not gonna do that. There it is. Yeah, this thing's geared for the lower gears.
Keep right.
for sure.
Then turn right.
Because it needs to, because it's so underpowered. That question mark I'm not gonna get.
Turn right.
Okay, I freaked out a little bit there. Boy, tempted. Who even has a green light right now? That was kind of silly of me, but I got away with it. Had to pick a gear that I thought I could handle.
Keep left. Then turn left. Turn left.
Of course, I look away for 2 seconds and it changes. You can't skip any gears on this thing. Not with this load that we're hauling anyway. You're gonna have to let me in. Right, wrong button. I shift up. It's a little hard to tell.
Keep
Yeah,
left.
I just saw. It's hard to tell if I was at the top of the range or not there. I'm gonna go over. Oh, don't do that. Oh, the wipers come down from the top. I didn't mean to hit that. I'm gonna go for 8th.
Keep right.
And of course, now I got it. Yeah, I'll probably be topping out at 55 on this thing. South.
Keep left.
There we go. Yeah. Maybe 60. Downhill. Tried to keep as much momentum as I could, but that was also a pretty nasty turn. Oh, come on, are you kidding me? There goes all my momentum. Just had this just sit there. The AI loves to just sit there on your side. Oh, wow. Oh, Autobahn already grabbed it. Good. Building.com. Amazing. Does anybody fall for that? Guess I should click deny. I think it would have just denied it anyway, but. Whoa. Oh, because I tabbed out. If you tab out in this game, the shifter forgets where you were and you go back to neutral. I don't know the game or the shifter. I guess it kind of makes sense because the shifter just detects when you first go into the gear or when you first come out of the gear, one or the other. When you go in, I think it's got to be when you go in. So, yeah. It doesn't know you're still in it when you tab out and back in. We're doing 38 and the 60. Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to be rough, but whatever. Money is money.
Keep left.
I gotta get over. Think I can go right. Well, maybe now. That was slightly downhill, so I was able to get her into 8th. But I might have to do it right back down here. Let's see. She's holding. Maybe I'm trying to rev her a little too high too. I am used to the Detroit diesel, so this is not my Detroit diesel, I'm pretty sure. Now we're gonna go very high. Amazing. Yep. I think we're gonna get 55, maybe 60 out of her. And that's not too terrible. I've had some of, oh god. Why you stick your ass out in the road, trooper? The car was over better than the trooper. There's plenty of friggin' shoulder for you. Especially there, the guardrail didn't start yet. But I've had some of these trucks, these older classic trucks with certain gearboxes where they would top out at like 50. Out of gears at 50. But if it wasn't geared that way, you wouldn't be moving. Yeah, we're topping out at 60. 61. That's not completely horrible. Classic truck.
Keep left.
It's the International Pay Star, by the way. Yeah, not meant to be a speed demon by any stretch. I think this is one of the trucks that you can play SnowRunner with.
Keep left.
It's raining. I bumped up the rain probability slightly from like 4% to 10. I used to have it pretty darn low, like maybe even less than, I think default was 4%. I used to even maybe turn it down 1 or 2% from that because it used to be California in the very beginning anyway. It was California, Nevada, and Arizona. Yeah, where it pretty much almost never rains, so it makes sense. But now that we got all the other, well, not all the other states, but a lot more states, I bumped the rain probably up to like 10. There's still a lot of southern and western states that, you know, areas where it doesn't rain a lot. Like this area doesn't look like it rains very much. Guess we'll set my cruise at 60. She ain't gonna do an extra lane and nobody knows what to do. Well, it was an extra lane, it was an exit. Fuel, actually. Get out of here, I'm getting off anyway.
Keep right, then immediately exit right.
And while they're
Exit
adjusting
right.
mirrors, because it's a quick job, but yeah, they're a little off. My shifter didn't want to register that gear for a second. Wasn't nice. So, as far as what I've been doing in my life, I don't know, not a whole lot, as usual, I suppose. Minecraft, ATS, and Derail Valley for the most part. That's what I'm playing. That's mostly it. Mostly watching a lot of streams. Some YouTube or Twitch. A lot of times YouTube. YouTubers. That's what on YouTube. Like Twitch has added all sorts of stuff to the chat and whatnot. I haven't downloaded it. Tried to skip 5 high and she didn't like that too much. We got away with it, but she complained a little bit. It's been an ongoing saga with cats, but it looks like it's pretty much over with finally here. IRL news that I can talk about. So, I'm trying to remember when this started. I'm gonna say maybe early summer? But we had a stray cat start showing up, which I mean isn't necessarily all that rare. A nice, beautiful jet black cat. Classic witch cat. We named her Suki after a character in Dark Shadows. But she, as we were a little bit later to figure out, she started coming around, and of course my mom and my neighbor, because we're both big time animal lovers, start feeding her. And of course, when you have a stray cat and you keep feeding them, they keep showing up. Oh no, that was reverse. As long as you keep the clutch in until you get it right. So, Suki starts coming around more and more often. We're like, she's gaining weight, you know. Me and mom and our neighbor, we're both feeding her. That's good. She's getting a bit of belly, though. She, he, whatever. So, yeah. What's going on with that her belly? And mom starts thinking, I think the cat's pregnant. I don't know. And then one of my neighbors, I think it's pregnant. The other one, I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant. Well, sure enough, she was getting bigger because she was pregnant. And we didn't really anything about it. Not that I don't know if there was much. And also,
Keep
there's
right,
another
then
stray
turn
cat, by the way.
right.
The tabby cat that we just simply named Tabby.
Turn right.
And he's a he. And yeah, we know what happens when he's and she's do their thing. Nature happens, right? So, on down the line, she's getting bigger and bigger. And oh, I think she's pregnant. Oh, what do we do? Of course, there's not really much of it we can
Keep
do.
left.
Oh, my sister wanted us to trap Suki, when it was Suki, and get her fixed. And already pregnant, though. So, I mean, you know, that's kind of not great. And by the time the neighbors realized that she was pregnant too, I think they thought the same way. I mean, sure, they were complaining and oh, now what are we gonna do with the kittens? But at the same time, you can't just the seed has been sown. So yeah, then she disappeared for like close to a week, and then she was back, and sure enough, we started seeing little kittens popping their head out from under the shed and whatnot. Yeah, yep, that happened. So now there's Suki and the father Tabby. And by the way, this usually doesn't happen, especially, well, maybe it happens a bit more with strays. But usually a male cat, when he gets a female pregnant, they kind of just F off. They don't really care about being a father so much. Well, not this one. This one was stuck by her the whole time, and he would go up on people's porches and, you know, beg for food or whatever. And then he would come down, and Suki would come up and eat, and he would stand back and watch. Or we would put food out in the yard somewhere, and he would just stand in the background and watch and kind of guard her while she ate. And he would only eat after she was completely done eating throughout the whole pregnancy. And with the kittens, nursing the kittens, all that, he would just like guard. And he was a very good, for a cat, he was a very good father. Which is pretty rare for cats, I think. So, yeah. So that all happened. And then we're like, well, we gotta get these freaking cats fixed. Because, you know, none of them are fixed. Obviously, they're feral. Feral, but, you know, they come up to the porch for food. And Suki, the female, the mother, if she was in the middle of eating, she would allow my mom and one of my neighbors to pet her just a little bit. That was like as close as you could get to something, right? But anyway, we're like, well, you know, cats really don't care about incest so much. So as soon as these kittens grow up, either A, Suki's gonna get pregnant again, or B, Daddy's gonna get one of the kids pregnant, because yeah, incest animals don't really care about incest. It's just family. It's a colony. So we gotta get these freaking cats fixed. Right. So Mom contacts something called Pets Alive, which is a group that does that. And she gets on a list with emails, and, you know, my neighbors are both kind of, they don't really trust email so much. They don't really think that's gonna happen because it's email and she's not like talking to a person. So my neighbor finds something else called this woman dumped cats of something something. Basically, she's like a cat sanctuary, maybe? I don't really know the details, actually. I know she's got a bunch of cats that she has to take care of or overlook, and she has full-time job of trapping stray cats and getting them fixed and either taking them in or finding homes for them, blah blah blah. So they start contacting this lady, and what do you know, she does email too. She tries to text my neighbors, and he's like, no, I don't know how to text. No text. Which is true. He has a smartphone now, but he really doesn't know how to use it. He just turns, it's a smartphone, you know, like everybody else has, and he turns on the phone if he needs to make a call, and then he turns it back off. You don't do that with smartphones, but you can't tell him anything. He's in his 70s, you know. So she starts coming up with a plan, but you know, it's going to take her a while to get around to it too. But anyway, finally she starts bringing in traps. We're setting traps. She set up the traps, and there was all sorts of drama about when this was happening. She was going to come in like 6 in the morning, and of course he thinks he has to be out there and help her set these traps and stuff at 6 in the morning. And he ended up setting the traps. I showed him how to set the trap because it's not too hard to figure out. But yeah, so the day comes to trap them, and we get, well, first off, we'll back up a little bit more. After the kittens were born, and we figured she's about done weaning them, you know, we were counting the months and stuff. We were able to trap on our back porch just a mother, Suki, and I took care of her. We took her to a vet in Otisville, and the vet in Otisville has traps, and you put down $100 deposit. You know, these traps are valuable, and then when you get the cat and bring it back, they give you your $100 back. It goes towards the vet bill, really. And so we got the cat right away. Put the trap on the back porch. I'm like, man, this cat's pretty smart. I don't think she's gonna get in this trap. Oh, she got right in it almost instantly. So that worked out relatively well. Took the cat down to the vet, and the only thing was, they didn't really think this part through so much, is that they had us bring the cat in the trap, and they had us bring a carrier to bring the cat back. Well, they fixed her, and then they put her in the carrier, and then, oh, we can't keep this cat around overnight until the next day in a carrier where she's gonna make a mess or something. You gotta bring it back home. Well, why didn't you put her back in the trap then? The trap that just has holes, and they have a separator in the trap to put her on one side of the trap or the other, and you clean out the papers and stuff. They could have figured something out. So anyway, oh, that's what I'm doing. Caught talking, I'm sitting on the scales like an idiot. So we brought her back home in the carrier while she's still sleeping from the anesthesia, because it was towards the end of the day, and they did not want, I'm sure the thing was, they did not want to hold her overnight in the carrier and making a mess and all that. And you know, she's feral, so how do you get her out of the carrier and put her in something else? She should have been in a trap. That's the thing. Which I figured out later on when we dealt with the kittens, which I'll get to that story afterwards. But so, you know, Suki gets fixed, she comes home, and of course, me, my mom, and everybody in the house.
Right. Then immediately exit
well, she's gonna wake up in the carrier, and maybe, you know, she got fixed. She could just be inside. Me, I'm like, it's a feral cat. She's still gonna be a feral cat and be afraid of us and go nuts when she wakes up in a carrier inside a house. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. Well, what happened is exactly what I told her was gonna happen. As soon as she woke up, she went from being groggy and stuff to going absolutely berserk. To trying to, and by berserk I mean jumping about 4 or 5 feet straight up in the air at the doors trying to get out. shredding the blinds on the door, doing all sorts of crazy crap. And then she ended up under the bathtub, and I had to get a yardstick and get her out. Finally got her out the back door, and when she got out the back door, because mom's standing there holding the door, so she's got to run past the mom, like, blockade kind of thing, and she leaps off the back porch. She just had freaking surgery, and the back porch is like, 15. How many feet off the ground is the back? Not 15. Oh, I don't know. Maybe the floor of the back porch is like 8 feet off the blacktop patio, and she just leaps off the railing. So more than 8 feet. We could have just put the damn carrier, opened it up, out on the back porch. So she woke up, got out of the carrier, and
Then
left
turn left.
nicely. But no. Oh, she could be inside. She's a really good cat. Blah, 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 blah.
Turn left.
Okay, let's have her inside. So we all learned something. Well, I knew what was gonna happen, but yeah. The life of animal lovers. So then the big drama is we've got these 4 kittens and the father, and the kittens are growing up fast because everybody's feeding them. Well, everybody, we're feeding them, the neighbors are feeding them. They're growing up fast, and so it's got on a list with pets alive, but and he's starting with the dumped cats. We're doing off with that, right? Get the cages for the kittens, because we're starting to get really worried about one of them getting pregnant. Ended up being 2 males and 2 females, by the way, the kittens. Mom cat is a really good mom cat, by the way. She nursed them as much as she could nurse them. Mom was putting out like scraps of food, and she would grab the scraps of food and bring them back to the kittens to get them to eat real
200
food.
yards. Turn
She was a
right.
really good mom
Turn
cat.
right.
Some cats are not. Like we had a cat named Scully who had kittens, and we had to lock her in a closet with the kittens just to take care of them, or else she would have just tossed them in the corner and ran away. She was too young. She was probably almost a year old, which was too young. I think Suki was pretty good too.
In
But
200
anyway,
yards. Turn left.
So
Turn
the traps
left.
for the kittens. Time for that. And he manages to get,
You have arrived.
first off, Suki, which of course we didn't want because she was already fixed. But yeah, she's in one of the cages. And 3 of the 4 kittens. The 4th kitten does go in a cage, but she's so tiny and lightweight that she does not set off the cage. I think is what happened there. Oh, Jesus. I did not make a wide enough turn. Oh, fun times. Now we get to play Ring Around the Rosie. I hate this parking area. It's so tiny. So, yeah. We missed one of the kittens. So he puts out another trap, and then, surprise, surprise, we get Tabby, the father cat, which was great, by the way. I even offered, because my neighbors ended up paying for all the kittens. I said, you know what, if we get Tabby out of all this, I'm gonna pay for Tabby. That way, I took care of the 2 parents, Suki and Tabby, and my neighbors took care of the 4 kittens. So, that made sense. But, so there's still 1 outstanding kitten. Sure enough, like the next day, the other 3 kittens come back from getting fixed, but we still don't have that 4th kitten. And the 4th kitten we're pretty sure is a female too, which is really bad, because she can get pregnant. At least if it was a male and the other females were fixed, then it wouldn't be as big of a deal. So anyway, this is yeah. So when the mom cat, and by the way, mom cat, since she got caught, even though she didn't have to go to the vet for anything, we were trying to figure out what to do with her, and we decided to just have her, since she was in one of the cages anyway, the traps cages. She went to the vet with the 3 kittens, even though she didn't have to, just to keep them with them, I guess, and stuff, keep them company. Figured maybe she wouldn't freak out as much as if she was home without any of the kittens. Go looking for them and stuff. I don't know what to do with this. With the articulated, it's impossible to back them up. Oh, this thing is ridiculous. I don't know how to make a wider swing so I can park in the spot. This one really should be a straight pull in as soon as you pull into the depot. This spot is ridiculous. So now we've got Suki and 3 kittens in their traps after they got fixed at the vet. See, this vet knew what they were doing, and they put the feral cats back in the traps, which was the right way to do it, because you could put newspapers in the traps, and then they gave us a separator. You can separate them to one side or the other and open up the ends and change out the papers and stuff. That's the way to do it. But anyway, so we had to keep Suki and the 3 kittens, even though they were all done, we had to keep them trapped up until we could finally catch the 4th kitten. The 4th kitten's name, by the way, Josette. My mom named them all, and then she named them all after Dark Shadows characters. Come on, you can. Thank you. So, this one freaking kitten, all day, he's got the trap, putting food in the trap like we did with all the other traps, and he watched her, and she did go in the trap, and oh, by the way, before the day came to set the traps for the kittens, there was like 4 days where we had the traps set up with these bags around them to make them look kind of like cardboard boxes, and then he was feeding them in the traps, and mom was not allowed to feed them at all because they had to get trained to go in those traps. So he was feeding them in the traps without setting the traps, so they could go in, eat, come back out. So they were used to going in and out of these traps like they were just little houses, like condos or something, cat condos. And so that's how he was able to trap them, except for the one. But so we're trying to trap this Josette, right? And let's see, hazmat, high value. I always go for the different, try to open up as many cargoes as you can. So hazmat, high value, just in time, and we're not really fast enough for just in time. Hazmat, high value, maybe 1 pip of long distance. We'll just go down the line. Hazmat. So, we're trying to get Josette, right? And he sees her go in and get the food. And sure enough, she goes in, she eats the food, and she gets right back out of the trap without freaking setting it, because she's the way the trap doesn't have quite as good of a hair trigger as the one that we caught Suki with, first off. And second off, the way that the pressure plate that sets off the trap is not super big, and it's too close to the end, and you got to try to put the food at the just past that pressure plate. But the problem is that I think what was happening is this kitten had most of her weight, and she was weighed like nothing to begin with. She had most of her weight on her hind legs, back legs. And she had just the 2 front paws on the pressure plate, and she was doing it in a way with the weight balance that she was able to reach down and eat the food without setting off that trap. And we saw her get the food out of it, and sure enough, the food was out of it a few times, and he reset it towards the evening, and then and then she was crying for food a lot because we were kind of starving her because we were trying to make her go into the cage for the food. And oh yeah. And so one night she's like under the car, and mom's like, "Oh, I gotta feed her, she's crying, she's stuck under the car." I'm like, "Mom, she's not stuck under the car, she's a kitten like the size of two of our hands. She's not stuck anywhere, she wants food." She's not stuck. She's trying to con you into feeding her, and it's working. So anyway, I go next door and I get the trap because it was set up over there, and I set it up on my side. But when I go over there to get the trap, I pick up the trap. I'm like, "Oh, this is kind of heavy." And I look inside the trap and I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is closed." And sure enough, sticking his little nose out, there was a raccoon in the trap because then the neighbor was trying to really trying to trap this kitten, so he's putting a lot of food in there even later on in the day. And the lady told him, "Don't put food in overnight because you're going to get a raccoon." And sure enough, but we are pros at how these friggin' traps work by now, so it was really easy to just go back a little bit and open up the end and let the raccoon out. The raccoon wasn't even mad, he wasn't freaking out that much. But the funniest thing was, at that time, my mom's partner was out in the gazebo, and he was sitting out in the gazebo, and it was just getting dark, and he had the door of the gazebo propped open because I think maybe he was hoping that maybe the kitten would go in there and he'd somehow be able to jump up and close the door. Of course, that would never happen, but whatever. Anyway, he's sitting there with the door open, and guess what? What runs in to the gazebo as he's sitting there? A raccoon. I don't think it was the one that we trapped because it was right when we let go the one that we trapped, but it was on the other side. He ran back towards the wood. I think it was a friend of the one that was trapped. Raccoons are buddies. And I think the raccoon went into the gazebo to say, "Hey, go help my friend." I don't know. It was funny as hell. He was like, "Oh, we got this raccoon in the trap, and then we got a raccoon here." He was in the freaking gazebo. Like, oh my god. So then I reset the trap and I put it right by the back steps or out by the shed. I don't know. It moved a couple of times. And sure enough, she was getting the damn food out of the trap without setting it off. I could tell because there was less and less food in there. So the next day, the lady comes. She says, "I don't know how these traps aren't working." We're like, "Well, they're not freaking working." And, oh, ad time. Oh, I don't think anybody's there anyway. But anyway, we get a different little container for the food that's a little bit smaller, and it's a little bit further past that pressure plate. It's got to be a really narrow little container. The pressure plate should really be like in the middle of the trap, not at the end, so that they have to run across that pressure plate to get to the food, not do this little balancing act where they can kind of be on the edge and not really touch it too much and eat the food, which is what was happening. So anyway, finally, uh not that night, but the next day with the smaller container. I don't know if that was the trick or maybe it was a different trap that had a little bit of a better trigger. We finally got her in the cage. And, this was she didn't get in the cage, the trap. It's a trap cage thing. It's a trap when they're trapped, and then once they're already in it, then it's a cage, I guess. But she didn't. We finally didn't get her in the trap until like 1 o'clock Friday. At least once she was in the trap, we were able to let go all the other damn cats. Suki plus 3 kittens. And poor Suki, she never needed to be trapped at all. She was already fixed. She was along for the ride. They were all in my neighbor's shed. Oh my god! And I had to keep going over there twice a day to hold the separator down in the middle of the trap, so to hold the cat on one side while he worked on the other side and replaced the papers and cleaned up, because of course they're gonna poop and pee and stuff in there and refeed them and everything. Like, I think 2 or 3 days they had to be in these traps just so that we could catch that last one. Because if we let the other cats go, how are you going to catch that one and not all the other ones? You know? So finally we get Josette, and all the other ones get out of their cages. But it's Friday. And we were really hoping the vet would squeeze her in for Friday, but he didn't. And so we had to keep Josette in the trap in the shed from midday Friday till like, I think she got picked up like 7 a.m. Tuesday, because I guess the vet is closed on Mondays or something. Or maybe the vet doesn't do surgeries on Mondays, something like that. So yeah, Friday to Tuesday she had to be in the cage. And she was the craziest out of them all. The other ones were kind of upset with being in the cages, but they didn't carry on too much. And they got used to the pattern pretty good. They knew that when we were getting ready to go to get the food, they would get noisy, and then as soon as we got the food in the cages and they were all cleaned up, they would eat the food and they would quiet down and be nice. This Josette cat though, holy crap. When we first got her in the cage, she was jumping inside the cage, wailing like crazy. The whole cage was bouncing up and down. It was crazy. She was nuts. And yeah, she carried on a lot. The last day she was starting to calm down a bit more, which was nice, at least, because she's finally getting used to being in the trap, I guess. Oh my god, all of these 6-speed trucks. Oof. If it's 6-speed, it's got to be lower tonnage. I'm willing to try a 6-speed, but not with that high tonnage. Oh, it's a 12-speed Western Star. Oh, it's a modern truck, though. 25 per mile. Lone Star, International Lone Star. Oh, you're not going to tell me the engine and transmission of this one, huh? Mac R. Oh, you're not going to tell me. Why aren't you telling me the engine and transmission? You did on the first page. I guess it depends on the truck. I'm tempted to try one of these 6-speeds, but boy, it's going to be rough. I probably should have started in Colorado. Colorado is all mountains. Boabab tree, no, that's going to be terrible with a quick job. It's probably going to spawn in and just go crazy, and 315 horsepower, 12 speed, trying to haul 63 tons. We're going to do 2 miles an hour. No. But yeah, that was the cat drama of the past couple of weeks. But it's all over now. They're all back. The only thing is the father cat. This was the real surprise out of all of it. The father cat, Tabby, um, the vet told us he was, now the mother was like, I don't know how old the mother was, but pretty young. I wouldn't say much more than a year old. But the father, Tabby, 10 years old, for a feral cat that's never been taken care of at all. That's pretty old. For a taken care of cat, it's up there, but not that bad. But for a feral, 10 years old is pretty crazy. 10 years old, and he had 2 bad teeth. The vet that did the neutering at the same time while he was under anesthesia. The vet pulled those 2 teeth, which is good, and he didn't charge extra for it either.
Calculating
So
route.
Yeah, too bad teeth.
Please
10 years old.
proceed to highlighted route.
That was the big surprise out of everything. Well, obviously the first surprise of the cat being, pregnant and dealing with the kittens and all that, but 10 years old, and he was that good of a father too. But because he's an older cat, oh shoot, what was this? 12 speed? I think it said a 12 speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, it looks right. Because this is a super modern Western Star truck, it's probably supposed to be an automatic. But I got my shifters set up, so I'm not switching to automatic. Although these modern trucks also, the thing I don't like about them, I don't usually drive the stock trucks at all, is they're too damn quiet.
In 200 yards, turn left. Turn left.
Now I have another chance to get this viewpoint. Oh, don't stop right there. Dude. Go! No? You just sit there. Okay. Why would you get in front of the truck and then stop? Where's this viewpoint? So yeah, that was the cat escapades. But anyway, the father that ended up being a lot older, I think an older cat like that probably gets a lot more traumatized about going to a vet and dealing with all that and having 2 teeth pulled out. So when he was released, he ran off into the woods. This was like 3 days ago, and forget it, we haven't seen him again. So even though he was really close to Suki and being a really good father and protecting her through the whole pregnancy and all that, after getting fixed at the vet, he took off. We're hoping he might come back. You'd think he'd come back for the food, but he was never as desperate for food as the other cats were. And he was always the most feral. He stayed the most out of the distance. He would come up and get food on the porch and stuff, but the second he heard anybody even move in the kitchen, he'd bolt down the stairs and run away. So he was definitely the most feral. And after this whole ordeal with getting trapped and getting fixed at the vet and having 2 teeth pulled, I'm sure they gave him a shot of antibiotics at the time, he took off for the hills. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could kind of care less, because he also was kind of a pain in the ass, because typical male tomcat, territorial. We have a male cat that is fixed that we found in another neighborhood. He had a little chip of his ear clipped off because he was a catch and release at some point in time. We called him Willie. But we know somebody in the area where we found the cat. The cat he just walked right up to my mom at the gas station. And Mom was like, "Oh, free cat." Which was not really the best thing to do, because there wasn't really any way to know at the time if he was somebody's cat or not. He acted like he wasn't. And, she had the argument that she was at the gas station and he was worried she was going to get hit by a car and stuff. But the good thing was, we know somebody from the neighborhood who knows a lot about cats, people's cats and stuff. Her mother passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, but her mother, when she was alive, took care of a lot of cats and stuff. So, kind of crazy cat lady almost. So we asked her about this cat, and she recognized it. They called it Mayhem. And
In 200
There was a
yards.
thing where he was
Turn
kind of a
right.
neighborhood cat that people would feed, and I think she brought the cat inside to see
Turn
her father
right.
sometimes or something, but he wasn't their cat. And she said if nobody claims him or anything, and Mom did go through the full thing of going on like face lost cats on Facebook and stuff like that, and looked for a chip, all that stuff, and she said, well, if nobody claims them, then take them. And since we got the approval from her, and she was like the cat authority of the area,
Keep left.
I felt a lot better
Then
about
turn
it, because
left.
in the beginning I was pretty bad with my mom and her partner, because there was no way to know if that this cat was, he sure as hell wasn't feral. He walked right up to them and rubbed on their legs and stuff. And a lot of people have cats that are outside. And if they're friendly cats, we had a
Turn
cat
left.
named Kaz. I think he's been on the stream a couple times. He passed away a couple years ago. But he would come inside whenever it was cold or not. But if the weather was good, he was always outside. And he would go over to the neighbors would feed him. He was almost more, but towards the end, he was almost more of their cat than ours, practically. And very friendly cat. Probably walked up to just about anybody. And what would we think if somebody came around and said, "Oh no, there's a cat within 20 feet of the road. I'm gonna take it." We would be devastated. So I was really worried about that in the beginning with this cat Willie, but once we talked to people in the neighborhood, we got the word on who this cat was and the fact that nobody really owned the cat or anything, then I felt a lot better about it. He's been working out fine in here, but still, I was really worried about that in the beginning, especially because nobody else seemed to be worried about that. They were just like, "Oh, free cat." I was like, no, cats don't really work that way. A feral cat is not going to walk up to people and let you pick them up and stuff. And a non-feral cat is usually owned by somebody. But this was actually like a catch and release. It was like just a friendly neighborhood cat around there. We do our best to keep him inside, but he does dart out now and then. It's always a drama whenever he does. I haven't gotten to the phase with him where we can just say, "Oh, the cat's out." Okay. No. Oh no, Willie got out. We gotta prop the door open and shake the cat food and try to get the cat back in. I'm like, he'll come back in when he wants to come in. We already can tell by now that he's not gonna run away. He hasn't yet. So just whatever, just treat him like an outside cat that, we're trying to keep him in, but he gets out sometimes. But the problem with that, as much as I'd love to just have it like that, the problem with that is that there was that tabby cat, that male father cat, feral, unfixed feral. And male cats don't like other male cats when they're not fixed, basically. Long story short, territorial and all that stuff. And this is my girl and blah, blah, blah. So they would get all fluffed up and
Keep
start getting
left.
into a tizzy. And thankfully, Willie is not much of a fighter. He gets fluffed up and hisses and stuff, but he just runs, thank God. But Tabby sure as hell doesn't run, is the problem. So, and I got to keep explaining to people, I'm like, you realize that Tabby is our cat. We take him to the vet. And if we
Keep left.
keep letting him out and he gets into a fight with Tabby, it's going to be our problem, because we're going to have to take Willie to the vet to get taken care of, and that costs money. Vets are not cheap. But thankfully nothing happened. Usually it was just be a little kind of standoff and he would thankfully run away. But also, when Willie gets out, he likes to sit on the top of the stairs and try to guard the food on the back of the stairs. Even though he's got plenty of food inside at all times, he still tries to guard the food and stuff. It's like, okay, whatever, guard the food. But so anyway, because of that, even though it's kind of sad that Tabby took off and ran instead of stuck around with Suki and the kids, I'm kind of glad it happened because we have a cat that gets out, and I was really worried about some kind of altercation ending in a vet bill, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore, hopefully. But we'll see. Tabby might very well still come back because, I mean, he's going to want the food, I would think, unless he finds another food source somewhere. Engine's too quiet. Not shifting perfectly, but it's okay. 6 high. Also, I'm talking a lot. So yeah, that's the cats. A lot of cat drama. You don't want 6 high, you don't want 7 low. I can't do 6 high plus. I don't think I was doing any faster than 6 high, so we'll stick with 7 low. I think. Nope. This is a pretty good climb. Yeah, mountains.
Keep right.
I didn't look at the
Then
route,
immediately exit right.
Just thought of it now. Oh, that's gonna be fun. In the dark, too. This is the problem with the beginning when you're doing quick jobs and stuff. You don't really get a chance to ever sleep through the dark. I do have... The one good thing is I do have fatigue turned on. So the game will force me to sleep, but it's not forcing me to sleep at the right time. It's going to force me to sleep during the day, unfortunately.
In 200 yards, turn right.
Oh yeah.
Turn right.
I might have stalled. Nope, I caught it in time. I really can't hear this engine. I didn't mean to turn the camera that far, but that's just what it did. 6 low. Jesus. That's not getting me anywhere. It's making more noise. Yeah, this is quite the climb. I think I already said it once, but the VOD for the stream, probably all the ones that have music, are not. It's not gonna have music as long as I did this right. That way, I won't get copyright claims. Hopefully, that's the idea. Yes. I really should have my flashes on. Doing like 20. Oh, we're up to 30. Yeah. It's pretty rough. I do wonder what it would be like in automatic, but too late now.
Keep left.
I didn't kick off my high beams that time. My high beams are, I have two, I've got 3 main pedals, and then I have 2 foot switches, as they're called. The one on that's closer to my left foot is the engine brake, the jake brake. And then further over to the left, it's kind of hard to reach, is for the high beams, and I don't use that one too much. Well, I like to avoid driving in the dark at all. Then even if I am driving in the dark, you really only need high beams if you're on a road like this. So yeah, when I gotta flick the high beams on and off, I gotta get my foot further over. Wasn't this road fun? Oh yeah. 46 high is probably pretty good considering we're not supposed to go much over 45. Now we can. Through the squirreliest bits. Okay. This is a fancy truck. I can see on the dashboard if the high beams are on or not. So used to the older trucks that you can't. No, it's not a car. Can't hit the Jake brake. What fun is that? This is probably going to be my last drive. This was really just a test to see if I got the OBS set up. But yeah. Of course, I'm not going to just like stream for a half hour or something. How long have I been streaming? Oh, 2 hours. Good. I am out of water. You know what I have though? And don't tell Mom, because she'd freak out. But there was a little bit of apple cider left. And I got it last night to drink. Then I just drank a little bit of it and then I fell asleep. It has not been in the refrigerator, but it's apple cider. So I don't think it really has to be. Yeah, it tastes good. Let's drink it out of the jug like a man. Put some X's on it and pretend that it's liquor. I just noticed that we are running out of fuel. Because quick jobs usually give you enough fuel to get where you're going. But the only place I could have gotten fuel was here. And I would have never thought to get fuel right after starting. So this one, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not my fault that they didn't give me enough fuel. And more importantly, we're in the middle of nowhere. So we better hope this damn thing runs on fumes. Because we're going to get to our destination before we get to a place where we can fuel. Maybe we already did most of the climbing and the rest will be downhill. That's probably over revving now out of the engine too, because I'm not used to this truck and I can't hear it that good. So I'm used to Detroit diesels and you're supposed to over rev. Better keep going. Not high beams are on. Sorry. Oh, you didn't like skipping high to go to low, did you? So the 1 foot pedal that I have, the older one that's for the jig brake, that one, it kind of broke a little bit, and I had to fix it. Can't really explain how it broke, but I fixed it. And the way I fixed it was attaching it to a block of 2x4. Very Red Bear fix, I know. So it works good, but my point is it's attached to a block of 2x4, so it doesn't really move around much. It's nice. The other pedal is pretty darn new, the one that I'm using for the high beams, and it is not attached to a 2x4, so it kind of moves around a bit on me. It's a little annoying. It's not too bad. There's high beams. Okay. Trying to keep my revs a little lower because fuel. Okay, I have a picture of my Discord with my pedals set up and the wheel and the shifter and all that. Yeah, I'm digging my setup. Now, of course, the downside of my setup is I've got my wheel, right? The Logitech driving force wheel. And then I've got the pedals are separate from the wheel. They're their own thing. Well, the programming calls it a Doyo pedals, D-O-Y-O. But there's some, Chinese, but they were a hell of a lot cheaper than anything else. And they do work. They're not the best, but they work. They're metal, at least. Metals themselves. Of course, any little bit that they can make out of plastic instead of metal, they do. But, they get the springs. They get stronger springs and weaker springs that you can swap out. I like the weaker ones. And the angle I'm not so crazy about with the pedals, but I think the pedals, any 3-pedal setups like with the Logitech, 920 or anything else, they're angled like that too, I think. So that's a separate controller, those Doyo pedals. It's fine in ATS, but any other kind of truck games, or God forbid, play a racing game for a change, I don't know if they're going to like having to deal with 2 different controllers. Actually, I'm using a total of 4 controllers with this setup currently. Yeah, be like USB ports, because you're going to need a bunch of USB ports. So I've got the Logitech driving force wheel, which is kind of old, by the way, but it works great. And then the Doyo pedals, and by the way, I bought them on Amazon, and they weren't called Doyo pedals. The programming was called Doyo pedals, but they were called something completely different. I think I linked it when I first got it on my Discord. I want to say I did. So that's 2 controllers. And then I've got here my Thrustmaster FGT, Ferrari FGT wheel. That was my first wheel and pedals that I first started using when I first got into a wheel. Just turned 90 degrees
Keep
each way,
right.
a couple of springs, and that's it. Looks like we're gonna make it barely. Can't hear anything. So that is here, and it was a wheel and pedals, but the pedals stopped working. This is very old. The pedals stopped working a long
Keep
time
right,
ago, and
then
then I
turn
tried
right.
fixing it a few times. Eventually I had to give up on the pedals, and
Turn
but I kept it
right.
around. And I figured out with the shift paddles broke off too. And I mean, this was like a $35 wheel. I don't like this song has screeching tires in it, by the way. It's confusing now. So when the shift paddles broke off, I figured out, oh, I don't have that button set. But I figured
In
out
200 yards, turn right.
how to get the two wires that went to those shift
right.
paddles. And wire them up to different buttons, homemade buttons I made. I think the first thing I did was I made like I had an old credit card, and I had 2 bits of metal with the wires. You know, you have a common, and then you have a wire for each paddle. That's not a first. That's where I'm going, I guess. And so I had these 2 little just metal bits that you would push together for buttons. It worked for a little while. And then, let's see, eventually the pedals stopped working, but I kept the wheel. And then I made the shifter box, this sequential shifter box out of wood. And I had I took apart the old pedals when they completely stopped working. Oh, great. Oh, boy. I think I can turn around up there. I took apart the old pedals when they stopped working. Oh, I stalled. And I saved the potentiometers, which I don't even know if you could ever use them for anything else, but I have them. But I also saved the springs out of the gas and brake pedal. That's what I made this shifter box out of. I had some threaded rods and those springs, and you know, the center bit is the common, and then there's 2 other rods on either end that it comes in contact with when you go up and down, and that's your shift up, shift down. This is gonna be fun. That was already a fun U-turn. So that's that. So that's controller number 3. We got wheel, we got pedals, we got sequential shifter, and that was my setup up until, well, no, actually I was using the pedals that went with the wheel, and then the sequential shifter, and I was doing that up until, I don't know when I upgraded a few months ago. Let's cheat and stick my head out the window. I'm tired. And then I got this. Same time that I got the pedals, I got this H shifter from Amazon again. And so for not for kind of, I would say maybe a little more than half the price of a G29, I got myself the pedals and the shifter, and I already had the wheel, it works fine. And I got myself, you know, this whole setup basically. And it's pretty cool. The shifter, it is pretty loud and clunky. I tried to I had like a little sleeve of paper around this metal shifter. Okay, I'll say the word shaft that you know, you're clanking around, and then over the paper, not stuck to the metal because I didn't want to get tape residue on it. I put electrical tape around the paper, and it did quiet it down, and it was thin enough that it didn't jam anything up. But the top plate of the shifter It's like metal and it's like almost sharp. And sure enough, it just chewed right through that electrical tape and paper. I also tried a piece of heat shrink without actually shrinking it on because once again, I didn't want to do any kind of damage and get sticky stuff on there or whatever. I just wanted to see if I could quiet it down. But sure enough, the heat shrink too just chewed right through it. Um, so back to basics, and it is kind of loud and clunky, and it's probably not great for racing because it's like it's not that fast, and it's not the easiest to get it in and out of the gear that you want. It's kind of easy to miss your gear, and then you have to quick shift over, especially 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's 5 and 6. That's what I mean. But yeah, I'm gonna get high value. I still like it. I was reading up on different shifters, and I was thinking of getting just getting the whole kit and caboodle with like a Logitech G29, but a couple of different people, and from what I read, the shifter for the G29 is not great. I think the pedals aren't that great for the G29 either. I mean, these pedals that I got probably aren't. They're definitely not the greatest, but you know what? They were pretty good for me. The only little complaint I have with the pedals is every once in a while, when I get in the truck and start it up, like if I haven't used them for a while, I get in the truck and start it up, and the idle the RPMs just go straight to max, like you're flooring it, and I'm not even touching the pedals. You just have to unplug the pedals and plug them back in, and it resets. You don't have to like go through calibration or anything. So it's not that big a deal. And the angle of the pedal, but like I said, I think other 3 pedal setups are probably the same way. And the angle is kind of steep for your foot. So after a little while, your ankles do get sore. But you get used to it too. And I'm sure you could like maybe prop something under the back of the base so that you would angle the whole pedal setup down a bit. Looking at the camera now so you can see what I'm doing, like angle it down so that it wouldn't be such an angle on your foot. But it doesn't bother me enough to go through that trouble, first off, and second of all, the base of the pedals, like the pedals are metal, but the base is 2 big plastic pieces, and the 2 big plastic pieces kind of have interlocks, forks kind of thing. You push it together like that and it just kind of clamps together. There were no I thought for sure there were going to be some screws or bolts to bolt the 2 pieces of the base of the pedals together, but no, they just click together, which of course is going to be a weak point. It does have threaded holes, and it came with some bolts that if you wanted to like mount it to a rig or whatever. And I think maybe eventually I'd like to get some strips of metal or something and bolt it in there just to solidify that base, that weak point, because eventually I'm worried that if something if the pressure's on the wrong spot, you might start breaking off those plastic forks. But thankfully that base doesn't really have anything to do with the workings of the pedal itself. But still, if that started breaking, then what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to like mount it to, I don't know. You know me, it's gonna be plywood or 2x4s, like everything else. But yeah, I'd like to prevent that. But still, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with the shifter. And now this is my first time streaming with this setup, I believe. I've been driving with it on and off a bit here and there. And the shifter up here, it's way up here. I was really worried about where I was going to put it. Was I going to have to move the computer somewhere, the tower somewhere? Was it going to be in the way? But actually, where it is right here, I didn't even have to move the tower. It fit without having to move anything. And in such a good spot, I just leave it here screwed down. It's screwed right down into the plywood, and it's just there forever. I don't have to, when I take the wheel, like the wheel and this stuff, I have to take all down to get out of the way when I'm not driving because it's a pain in the ass. The keyboard's up here. It's really hard to use. I'm sitting a million miles away from the screen, that kind of thing. I'm gonna snooze this because I'm almost done anyway. So, you know, it worked out pretty good. The only little issue, and I don't really have a way to fix it because you can see there ain't much space here. I mean, actually, if I want to get fancy with OBS, hold on, uh, I'm pretty much done. Oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a scene. Well, here, first do that. Uh, since I'm talking about this stuff. Uh, I know what I'm doing. I know how to use OBS, guys. Now, wait, uncrop. Am I holding Alt? Oh, that's not Alt. That's the problem. My beautiful white arm. There. Look at this beautiful camera. Oh man, it's so yellow. Uh, Anywho, you got the wheel here, this over here, other shifter, and instead of the H shifter being down here, so that the handles are like at the same height, the H shifter is up here, where the computer is, and it does work, but it's a little awkward to have this up here, especially because you're going from say 5, you're in 5 low, then you hit this to 5 high, and then you want to, no, 4 low, and you hit this to go to 5 high, and then you got to go back to the first position, and then go up on this to 5. That'll get you 5 high, and then down to get you 5 low. So you're going back and forth between these two. And then you go up, go down again to get back to 5 high, that kind of thing. And if they were at the same height, it would be a little bit better. And thankfully, I've got these positions of the shifter just fine memorized because I can't see it. I can't see the top of the shifter, just like you guys can't see the top of the shifter. The knob has a nice little pattern written on it, and the slots have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and R for reverse, but you can't see it because it's up here. I'd have to stand up, look up like that to see it. But you don't really need to see it, but still, it would be nice if it was down here. But you can see this is a dresser right here, so there's no space, and let's see. It's my TV. That TV is literally only there. The only purpose that TV has is when I play Guitar Hero, which I almost never do. You can't tell because this stuff's in the way, but just under the main monitor, under that wood, is my slim PS2 because it fits there because it's slim, and under that is a VCR, by the way, and that's for Guitar Hero. I got other PS2 games too, but for Guitar Hero, you don't want much input lag, of course, because it's a timing with the rhythm game. So I have a splitter for the output from the PlayStation, I believe. Yeah. And from the output of the PlayStation, one set of wires for the, especially for the for the video and audio. Or is it just video? Yeah, the video from the PlayStation, it goes through a splitter. It goes straight over to that TV input, so that you have the least amount of input lag. You know, and then out of the splitter also has another video that goes to the capture device for the computer, so that I can play it through OBS and stream it someday. I think I streamed it once or twice. Of course, that's unarchived. With all the music and everything, I'd go to jail. But and then the audio. What does the audio do? The audio comes out of the splitter and it goes straight over here. I have or there I have a wire that I can plug straight into my headphones. And my headphones have two different inputs, so I can have both the computer plugged into one side of the headphone, and then the PlayStation on the other. So that way I have the least amount of input lag, and I can still record or stream it. So that's that. Why I'm explaining all this, and now the ads are running. But that's my bed. There, that's the bed. So you can see there's no room to do anything any differently than I have it currently. Let's see. Is this the right spot now? Yeah. Okay. That's the whole thing. You can see the big monitor here. So that's what I have the ATS logo covering up with the cropped in version in the game here. My slick or what? Get the ATS logo over that screen so that you don't see it. So yeah. Anyway, I think that was a stream. That was 2.5 hours of a stream. That's pretty good for just testing to make sure things are working. And the only thing I have set up for OBS right now is ATS, American Truck Sim. But now that I've kind of got things figured out and I can just copy paste sources from ATS to other scenes, and I got the audio mixer thing figured out, I think we'll get there slowly but surely. I don't know when or if there's the next stream is going to be. I really, this was spur of the moment, which is kind of the only way I can stream, because if I think about it all, then I don't do it. That's kind of where my brain is. It doesn't really make any sense, but yeah. But it was kind of spur of the moment thing, and I really got into trying to figure out how to install and set up OBS. That was a big. I started yesterday. So anyway, I'm gonna see you guys around later. Bye. Look at that. I figured out how to say ending instead of starting.